Whoa, only God rule. In short, I do not cognize, then I cognize, and then it repeats. There is a pause between cognitions. As I heard, people see every 7 milliseconds. 6 milliseconds out of 7 I do not see, do not cognize. Metaphorically, I get unconscious without falling down. Also, I move my hand fast. I see my hand jerky, not smooth. Although I do not move my hand jerky, I see a bird flapping wings jerky too. I see a bullet in the beginning of its flight and in the end, when that bullet is shot and when it comes to its target. I do not spot that bullet in the middle of its flight. Also, during those 6 milliseconds, I do not see a black screen because no cognition is nothing for me, is even less than a black screen. No cognition. Also, in my sleep, I do not cognize at all. I do not know what happens when I sleep and how much time has passed. As I heard, a person dreams several times a night, but I do not remember my dreams. Also, person knows how death feels because no cognition is nothing for him. How death feels? No how. In short, small animal lives more calmly and longer. Small animal has a small body. Small body takes less to cognize. Small animal cognizes more than once in 7 milliseconds. Like a cat turns around faster than a cow. Also, as I heard, an elephant reacts 2 times slower than me and a gnat reacts 5 times faster than me. There are 10 movements of my hand. A small animal cognizes all 10 movements. I cognize the 5th and the 10th movements. A big animal cognizes only the 10th movement. Also, it is hard to hit a gnat. A gnat watches football. That gnat sees that footballers miss pass opportunities and sees violations better than the referee team. No wonder that a cat does not watch television. Joking. Also, as I heard, gnat lives 30 days. Those days last half a year for me. Gnat lives like I watch a slow motion video. As I heard, in football, throw-ins, corners and violations take half of time. A ball is in play just for 40 minutes, not 90. If in the end a referee adds 4 minutes, then a viewer says that it is unfair. In short, thought exists. A thought is when I speak in my head or an image in my head. I almost never have that image, to be honest. As I heard, thought is a chemical compound. As I heard, thought is as fast as a Formula One car. When I think, I do or ah, yeah. So from the outside, that I think can also be spotted. Also, seeing a cow is a thought I'm not focused on. A thought nevertheless, because otherwise my eyes would be a monitor that is not connected to a computer. Useless. Thinking how to help a cow is a thought I am focused on. Also, I see a mountain. I imagine what I can see on that mountain. I want to hike on that mountain. I hike, sun burns my head, I dislike, I stop that hike and come home. Now I recollect that hike. To see that mountain, to imagine, to want, to dislike, and to recollect are thoughts. Also, induction is a thought. Induction is to transfer a trait. An apple is tasty. Here is an induction. Another apple is tasty. Or other apples are tasty. Especially an apple with worms is tasty. Joking. Fabric is needed for my torso to not get sunburned. T-shirt. Here is another induction. Fabric is needed for my head to not get sunburned. With the Panama, I can finish that hike. Induction is used to find a law of nature. Also, a thought affects nothing. When I think of a snail, I did not give birth to it. I did not see myself laying an egg. As I heard, a snail hatches from an egg. If visualization worked, then a person who wants to explain visualization to another person would just visualize that person knows wish visualization. No explanation would be needed. Also, I get tired intellectually, but after resting for 30 minutes, I'm not tired anymore. In short, thought comes by itself. I can't start thinking about a stone, but a thought that a stone can be used as a lord just comes. A lord so that wind does not move a beach tent. A thought that mountain is a big stone just comes too. I do not choose what thought to have. Next, I do not choose what to memorize. I memorize a thing that makes me like or dislike, while what I like or dislike is natural. I swim in a sea. I memorize a tornado in that sea. I do not memorize algae during the day. Is this fact memorable? As I heard, to stare into eyes of mammals is a sign of aggression. Mammals, including people, monkeys, dogs, and cats. At least for me, that fact is memorable. As I heard, bacteria live in brain. No one is alone. Joking. Those bacteria touch my thoughts or cause them. Joking. In short, thought is approximate, not accurate. I cannot recall what happened a day before yesterday. I cannot recall in details what happened a minute ago. Next, when I close my eyes, I see darkness. If I close my eyes 2 times, then darkness of the first and the second times seem different. That example can be also used for schizophrenia. Joking. Next, as I heard, people do not hear too quiet sounds, too low sounds, too high sounds. Uh, as I heard, 0 decibel is the quietest sound for people and not the quietest sound at all. People do not hear too loud sounds too, considering that they damage hearing. As I heard, dogs are able to smell 40 times better than people. At first I wrote, dogs smell 40 times better than people. It can also be true. Next, I cannot think about a cow that a person gave to another person, who gave it to another person, who gave it to another person. Next, if I count to 100, then I make a mistake. Next, as I heard, people cannot draw a circle with their left hand and simultaneously draw a square with their right. I dance to music, but if I think about music, then I cannot dance. I become like frozen. Turning on music during learning does not help unless I learn music. Next, an end of life is a limit of thinking. I will not think after I die. Next, usually thinking is correct. If I am on a cliff edge, then I do not go further. To survive until this day, no nonsense should have been done, including while crossing a road. In short, I can think essentially anything, can say essentially anything. My vocal folds, my tongue, and my lips let me say essentially anything. Next, the first button is signed the second button is true. The second button is signed the first button is false. Metaphorically, the first button says to press the second, and the second says to press the first. Which button should I press? None. Maybe those are not buttons at all. How those buttons are signed does not matter. If a cow is signed not a cow, then that sign changes nothing. That cow moves like other cows. Next, to say that invisible everywhere space and time exist is like to say that on my nose there is a gnat that cannot be cognized. As I heard, abracadabra was used as a spell to ward off an illness. The universe needs not only the space and time, but abracadabra. Next, a tortoise is 10 steps ahead of Achilles and is 10 times slower than he. Achilles makes 10 steps, the tortoise makes 1 step. The tortoise is 1 step ahead, nevertheless. Achilles makes 1 step, the tortoise makes 0 1 step. The tortoise is 0 1 step ahead, nevertheless. A paw ahead. Can Achilles catch up with the tortoise? Yes, in the beginning of the 12th step. To overtake the tortoise, Achilles needs to make 12 steps or 1000 steps. That so to say paradox says that Achilles makes a small number of steps, like he is dancing with the tortoise and does not want to eat it, joking. That so to say paradox is a lie. Next, a newspaper is titled The World Ends. That newspaper is sold. If the world ends, then why is that newspaper sold? If the world ends, then money is not needed. Another lie. In short, I need thinking to exist. Outside of thinking, I do not exist. There is a knot. I see that knot. I have a thought of that knot. I eat that knot. I live. Yeah. Next, if I do not have a thought, then I do not know where I am. Maybe I am near a cliff's edge and I should move away from that edge. Next, to not to have a thought, including not to feel with skin on breathing, is worrying by itself. Next, can philosophy be stopped? Philosophy has already been stopped. But yes, philosophy is a thought. A person has a thought. If there is no person, then philosophy has been stopped. And not a big loss. It is important not to think about evil. It is important not to be evil. In short, to be able to learn is to have good memory plus not to believe everything. Good memory because imagination and induction are easy. Not to believe everything because when it comes to something important, a person lies. Next, it took memory to recollect that hike. Next, what is 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2? I forgot what I need to add up. Next, as I heard, 5,000 words are used in a language. 5,000 facts. To learn a language, those words need to be memorized. Next, if I memorized one thing a day, then I would be a walking encyclopedia. I read one thing a day, but I forget that thing. As I heard, a brain can memorize essentially an unlimited number of things without getting hurt. Next, memory cannot be improved. In short, learning is about forcing myself to learn. It's not about an ability to learn. A person with the greatest ability to learn may not learn and may work as a janitor. A janitor should not be underestimated. Next, I do not like to think, so I do not learn. If there is a person who likes to think, then he will learn without forcing himself and will be a genius. Next, to learn a word, I need to repeat that word 20 times. A word from my native language is no exception. Next, a teacher cannot make pupils interested in a subject. I do not blame my teachers. I do not blame myself either. In short, truth exists. I said lots of things, but what if truth does not exist? Joking. There is a cow with a cowbell. A thought that that cow exists is a truth. A thought that that cow does not exist is an untruth. If I know that that cow exists, but I say that it does not exist, then it is a lie. That cowbell sounds okay for me, but not for that cow. That cowbell is too close to that cow's ears. Next, cause is difficult to learn because it does not exist anymore. A cow moves on a cat. That cat is running away. I see that cat running away, but no one moves. It is difficult to learn why that cat runs away. Next, phrases maybe cow runs fast and is cow able to run fast are not truths nor untruths because those phrases are incomplete. As I heard, cow runs as fast as an athlete, so Achilles can catch up a tortoise but not a cow. A prisoner is told, if you say a truth, then we will hang you. If you say an untruth, then we will shoot you. And if you keep silent, then you will learn what is inside a crocodile. That prisoner should say maybe or really. Phrase I am lying is not a truth nor an untruth because I am lying is incomplete. Phrase I am lying that sun is dark is complete and is a truth. Phrase I am lying that sun is light is complete and is an untruth. That there are things that are not truths nor untruths is nothing special. What is me? Not a truth nor an untruth. Just a thing, I am just a thing. Next, in learning a state law, there is no truth because truth does not change. If a lawmaker makes a law that sun is dark, then a student is taught that sun is dark, while it stays not dark. It should be taught that a law should be based on kindness, including hunting for fun and fishing for fun should be banned, and no religion is obligatory. Next, truth leads to a correct prognosis. If I know that cow runs faster than an athlete, then one day a cow will win at Olympics. In short, to write down what I know helps to check for a contradiction. Truth is not contradictory. Next, what is called logic is thinking without a contradiction. Three things are needed to boil buckwheat. Two are done, one is left. I am a lazy criminal, so being a politician is a job for me. Can imagination be logical? Yeah. Next, written truth can be sorted by being common or particular, or by themes. Metaphorically, there will be no mess in a head. In short, intuition, analysis, and deduction do not exist. Intuition is thinking for less than a second. Let me test my intuition, thinking, what should I do? Hmm, I should continue writing this text. No intuition. Next, I could think to continue writing this text because I am writing and I feel okay. I do not need anything to change. Just thinking, no intuition. Next, there is a cow tail. I think about that tail. In order to think of that tail, I do not need to think first about a cow that has that tail. No analysis. Next, I think that all apples are tasty. There is a strange looking apple. Is that apple tasty? That all apples are tasty includes that that apple is tasty. No deduction. An investigator thinks that whoever has a stolen thing is a thief, thinks that I have a stolen thing, and thinks that I am a thief. Sherlock Holmes thinks that whoever wears different socks at midnight is a terrorist, thinks that I wear different socks at midnight, and thinks that I am a terrorist. Does it seem credible? I plead guilty to terrorism.